Sauk River Park in Melrose, Minnesota. As you can see, it's a very well kept up park. The disc golf course actually goes around the northern and western perimeter of the park. It's about the only place they had room. The rest of the park was being used. At the beginning of the course, there is a practice basket that borders along a soccer field, and during Saturday mornings there seems to be soccer tournaments going on. So sometimes on Saturdays you can't play disc golf here until later in the day. But anyway, from the basket here we go up the hill just a little bit. The little power box here basically shows the corner of the property. That side of the box is private, but this side of the box, the park actually goes up to about where the dog kennel is that you see up in the upper left hand or right hand corner. So this is a fairly new course, and while we've got the baskets and the signs up, you'll notice there's no tee box here. Instead, we have these white markers in the ground that you don't step beyond if you're teeing or when you tee off and do your first throw. So you stand behind that. Number one is basically over the hill around those two trees that you see up there. The basket goes down a little bit on the other side of the hill. Tall people can kind of see the basket from where they are. Let me see if I can raise this up a little bit. I don't know if you can see it from up there or not. But we'll walk the course and you can see what it's like. So, here we go. We throw and we walk. Number one can be a little fun because if you throw to the right, you've got this nice hill that your disc will roll down. And of course, if you throw too far to the left, you might get on some private property. Like I say, that fireplace or campfire ring you see there, that is pretty close to the line. It might just be on city property there. So anyway, when you get to the top of the hill, you can see the basket. Like I say, you can kind of see too, we've got a dandy hill that it can roll down. And of course there's a few trees that kind of get in your way. But that's basically hole number one. Looking back, there's those two trees that you saw from the tee box, and a couple other trees in the way until you get to the basket. And if you throw too far, of course, you got a little bit of a hill on the way to number two here that it could roll down also. Let's see what number two looks like. Now, you see that campfire ring and those couple of lawn chairs. That is actually on city property. The city property is almost up to the fence line of the swimming pool there. So pretty much the hill, the pine trees, the part that you see that isn't mowed is actually part of the city park. For some reason, the city likes to stop mowing by the pine tree and let the homeowners take care of the rest of it over here. The hole, or the basket, for number two is once again over this hill on the other side. And you'll notice right-handers that like to throw the normal way will have those pine trees in the way that they got to work around. I've seen plenty of right-handers sidearm it so that they can throw to the left of the trees and have a curve to the right. And of course, if you go a little bit off to the side there, there's a bit of a hill there too that it can roll down and more trees for it to go into. So let's walk number two and see what we've got. You saw what it was like on top of the hill. So I think I'll walk around to this side of the pine trees. And there you can see the basket in the distance. The pole there used to have a little weather station on it years ago. That's long gone. Now, number 2 does have an interesting area. From right here, it doesn't look too bad. Nice and level, just a slight slope. But when you get to the other side of the basket, you'll notice it drops off fairly fast down to the trail. So I have seen people already that have thrown too far, gone around the trail and into the long grass and trees there, and actually in those trees is a creek that in the springtime can have quite a bit of water running in it. So looking back from number 2, you can see the hill that is to the right from this vantage point, and a steeper hill on this side of the trees, but a nice straight, pretty flat area right in the middle. So that is hole number 2. Just a little way down the trail here, you see where the tee box is for hole number 3. And in the distance on the right there, you can see where the basket is on the side of the hill. So you've got a couple small trees in the way here and a couple big trees on the right side. Once again, this one favors the left-handers a little bit, or the right-handed side armors, because you do need to curve it to the right in order to have a nice shot to the basket. Off to the side here, remember I talked about that creek? Well, it opens into a little pond over here. The tree line kind of blocks the view of it, but there is a bit of a hill down there, so you kind of want to avoid that when you're throwing. Once again, just to show you, we have just the rubber stops, kind of like a pitcher's mound, very similar to that. You don't want to step beyond that when you're taking your tee off throw. So let's walk this and see what it's like. There's a nice straight shot to it, to the basket I mean, if you can avoid the trees. Another thing with number 3 here is with the walking trail here, you do have to be careful about people coming around the pond and all of a sudden getting in your way. Might have to wait for some people to move out of the way. Now you'll notice number 3 is on a hillside, so you do have to be a little careful with your throws, because if you don't do it quite right, well, you might roll down the hill into the soccer field. So, gotta make sure you're playing the right disc to get to this one. Otherwise, as you can see, it's a nicely mowed area, and all the holes at the Sauk River Park here are in a mowed grass area. So there's really not any roughage like some courses have. We are completely within the park here. Now, when you get done with number 3, number 4 is on the other side of the soccer field. You can see on the right side of your screen, there's a little hill there, and the basket for hole 4 is on that hill. So basically you'll have to walk around the soccer field to get to the tee box.